a world where there are so many disasters causing from nature disaster and non-nature disaster. That is the two of the disaster. A disaster is really fatal if we think about it. If we didn't prepare the stuff or action we can do to prevent the disaster that we are worried about, well, the disaster, it will be big and in a status quo. When there are so many disasters in a certain place, area, and then caused by nature, such as flood, fire disaster, earthquake, volcano lava, and tornado, and many stuff that you guys already know about. The effect of the nature disaster is causing many negative impact to the society, like maybe take many people's life, and that is really bad, right? Because people are really important to this world, because without people, what can they do? What can they do to this world without people? And in this world, we need animals, and then we need something like plants, and then after that, we maybe many buildings that are already broken, and many of creatures like people, animals, and plants will get decreasing, and then many lost things because of the bigger impact of that disaster. And then there are so many people that will get many bruises and many lost things. You don't want to lose many things, right? And that is why, because the bigger impact of each disaster, and what is the reason that many disasters is happening? It's because of the clumsiness we as people, that most people that didn't think or thought that the action of what they do, little action or bigger action, that is an accident or not accident, that is causing the trouble that the disaster were made. Many people believe that it's the government fault. It is the government fault? I think it's not. Why? Because people think that they didn't do much for preventing the disaster that they made. But we, as humans, we have the responsibility to take care of the disaster that already been made by us, or maybe from the nature. And then it is important to do mitigation before a disaster happens. Why? Because by doing it, it will make less of an impact that is caused by the disaster. And then imagine if we are not doing it at all, like not doing the mitigation. Well, we don't do the mitigation, and the effect, it will make more bigger negative impact and from the death and from the disaster. And that is why our goal from proposition is mitigation is a must on our to-do list for preventing the disaster. And then, but in reality, as you can see, that so many people didn't think that mitigation is really important. I think that is not right. And then the first thing people thought of when there is a disaster happening, they have to move state or places after disaster. Most of them usually have traumatic pause after the accident or disaster, and then they have to move the city after the disaster, and they didn't expect to happen, so they didn't want to experience it again of the disaster. And the solution that they thought would work is to relocate, and I think that is not right, because mitigation is the practical best solution. Why? Because mitigation is doing something that preventing the disaster, right? So I think it's really important to us humans to do small acts of things that will make the disaster is not happening, or maybe minimize the disaster. And why is it important? Why is it important? Well, it's important because by doing the mitigation, well, the disaster will not. I think the disaster will not prevent the more bigger and more impact of the disaster. And the impact of doing mitigation rather than relocate is good. Why? Because when you relocate, you think that this place is not safe and I want to go somewhere else. And I think it's not the best solution, because why? When you like move to a different place, that means you have to like left all of your belongings and left all your memory childhood in that certain state that you already have been like live for many years, and you didn't think that what is it that something that make you relocate. I think it's not necessary to like relocate, because that is your home, and maybe it's right that your home is like already like broken, and your home already like make you remember stuff that when a disaster happened, you think that, oh, I don't have someone that I love is already lost, and I'm hurt, and you didn't think that. What do you think that when you already relocate, you didn't think that what could happen if you relocate? So I think relocate is not necessary, and doing mitigation is best for the generation of the future. Why? Because when you're doing a mitigation, that means the world will make a better place of the world, and then minimize the disaster. And what's in it for us if we do the mitigate? I think the impact if we do the mitigation is that we will like feel safe, because something that we do is really good for like the people and for the world. And then, is it necessary to do mitigation if the disaster is super big? Yeah, I think that is why we have to do mitigation, because if the disaster is big, by doing something small acts of kindness, like maybe when there's a flood that is caused by like doing put trash in everywhere, right? Like, don't do that. You have to like collect all the trash, and you have to like collect all the trash and then put in a safer place and a good place. And that is why in the argument of the third is why mitigation is the best practical solution after relocate, because well, mitigation is the best practical solution because it's good for your memory, and then you are not separated from the one who you love. And in status quo, people are lack of care of doing mitigation. And then mitigation is not hard as you think. And small actions are bigger than impact. And that is why we have to prioritize mitigation, because it will decrease a disaster. And then we should fix the mitigation and fix the mistake that we made that causing the disaster, and not by running from them. Why? Because we as individuals are responsible to prevent a disaster. It's important to do small acts for decreasing the problems than not doing anything at all. It's like true, rather than disaster, it will always can be bad, but by doing mitigation, it will not give a bigger impact, and the mitigation have to be prioritized over relocate. Thank you so much. That is all from my arguments.